spirits.
Whoa.
He's just the one we see operating in that particular movie, right? But even in that movie, they reveal the woman in black.
Yep. And the man who can't breathe. And
we know there are other, but even just in the first movie, we know there's more than one powerful evil entity. In Freddy's universe, for all he knows, he's the only one. The moment he realizes the other, once Highlander realizes there's another immortal, you don't even stop and ask yourself how old they are. Like, wait, there's someone else like me who's cutting off heads, gaining power? This is horrifying.
And the fact
because I could have a bad day. What if I have a cold?
Yep.
When he comes for me.
Cramp.
Right.
A hangover.
Cramp. Like my calves are sore from my workout.
A sprained thumb.
Right.
You're in trouble. I think the Red Lipstick Demon, too, that I love, it carved itself out its own territory in a world full of horrible, horrible entities. So it has, like, its block, which I appreciate. All right, so third and foremost, he wrote, what is one director that you'd love to see take on the Nose franchise? So Nathan wrote, if it's going for more goofy horror movie, I think James Gunn would be fun. If they want to make you crap your pants, Guillermo del Toro. For me, I guess I don't know if I'd want to see a del Toro because he would just throw in some... I like a del Toro horror movie, but maybe if he produced it, more of like I don't know, I just... His movies, to me, he just throws in like The Wall and Pacific Rim. He throws in like very obvious metaphors that make sense, but they're kind of clumsy. Like, I don't know. I
feel like he does creepy very well, and he does fantasy very well. I don't really feel like he does scary very well.
I don't know how interested he would be.
I don't think he's ever really tried to do scary, to be honest.
And I mean, like, he did Mimic, but he complains about that all the time. I mean, Devil's Backbone's very introspective. Kronos,
very creepy.
Very creepy. Yeah. I think he could excel in that. But for me, I'm going to say two people. And they're going to be kind of weird. I'm going to say Oz Perkins, who directed I Am the Pretty Little Thing That Lives in the House, and one of my favorites, The Blackcoat's Daughter, which I think is a modern horror classic. And so I love how he creates an atmosphere and a sense of loss in his movies. And I think it'd be really interesting to see Freddy inhabiting this world where Oz Perkins uses Freddy as more of a Trojan horse to get across a theme that he's using. I think he could make it something really interesting, Freddy. And I think most Freddy purists would hate it, but I would love to see him create that. And then my other pick, which is bonkers and stupid, but like an S. Craig Zoller, who did Bone Tomahawk, Drag Across Concrete. He also did Brawl in Cell Block 99. Oh, crap. I got his graphic novel. I was supposed to review that. So I got to read his new comic book that they sent. I got to write a review for that. But it's the words that would come out of Freddy's mouth, right? The moments of violence and the dialogue, I think, would be exceptional. If I have a feeling I would walk out of a S. Craig Zoller Freddy Kreuger film just floored with visuals I will never forget in my life. So for me, it's all about S. Craig Zoller, just with his dialogue and moments of head smashing, of brutal violence combined, like a poetic bloodbath. And then Oz Perkins, who delights in atmosphere and loneliness and loss. That's what I want.
So while you were answering, I came up with 4 directors. I scrambled. I was scrambling. I came up with 4 directors, none of whom are any of the people you mentioned.
Hey.
But Mark, here's the thing. I think they'd all be such interesting takes. I feel like I should give you my 4, and you should pick 2 from them.
Okay, let's hear it.
It's like a weird inverse draft. Ready? My choices. And this is director, right? So I realize the first choice I'm making, most people have a lot of controversial opinions about this. M. Night Shyamalan.
Absolutely. I think the budget would have to be $10 million, no more.
I think you'd see I think M. Night would bring the kind where it's focused very little on the kills and more on the hunt, the terror, the mythos, the story, the symbols.
Just imagine the atmosphere, right? Just that's a great pick. And also, just remember the orange jumpsuit man from Unbreakable? Mm-hmm. That movie is not a horror film.
No.
There's a scene where the guy in the orange jumpsuit.
I'd call it a thriller, though. I'd call it a thriller.
I would say so. But when there's a woman chained to a radiator, and she is woefully skinny.
She's dead.
Beaten, dead. Just out of life. And he's spitting water on her. Like, it's something I'll never forget. It's one of the most affecting things I've ever seen in film.
M. Night has a lot of darkness in him. He just doesn't go full tilt with it. He just wants to give you the surface.
And that hurt.
Of it.
Oh, that hurt so bad.
So that's choice number one, right? Choice number two, I'm thinking mostly about his most recent movie release, The Color Out of Space, Richard Stanley.
Poof. That would be a head trip.
Okay. Okay, to continue.
Can llamas be in it?
Who's that?
Can llamas be in it? Alpacas?
I think that's required. That's probably required. Next choice. Honestly, thinking more Hereditary than anything, but I love the way he weaves it. Ari Aster. He is an emotional gut puncher, and he could dig in to the harrowing and insidious and mean and history like nothing we've ever seen in a Freddy movie.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I think it would be less about the death scenes, but when the deaths come, they'd probably be like, holy shit, like, very shocking, but it wouldn't bask in them. And then my last choice, Jordan Peele.
Okay, so I got to lose two of them.
You got to lose two of those. Jordan Peele, Ari Aster, Richard Stanley, M. Night. Who are the two that stay?
All right, let's see. I'm losing Ari Aster.
Okay, all right.
I'm dropping him out of there.
M. Night, Richard Stanley, and Jordan Peele.
And I'll drop Stanley. As much as I love it.
That was pretty quick, but I think I agree with you. I do think I agree right away with dropping him. He'd be the first one I'd drop, I think.
All right, now you have to drop one of mine, and I have to drop one further of yours.
Okay, all right. So mine are M. Night and Jordan Peele. Yours, once again?
S. Craig Zoller and Oz Perkins.
No, we're keeping Zoller. I want that Freddy. I want S. Craig Zoller's Freddy.
Okay, so to make it even harder on us, oh gosh.
And now we have two atmosphere-rich people that you got to pick from.
Okay, so I don't want Jordan Peele tackling Freddy because I want him to make more original stories. So if that takes up a year of his time, I don't want it. So I'm gonna do M. Night.
What if that wasn't a factor?
For me,
that was an interesting rationale that you chose, by the way.
I love Get Out, right? I think Get Out is a masterclass on every level, and I love Us. I think just the performances he gets and like the world he creates, and some of the meanness that he has with the kids. But I don't know, man. Just seeing that man with the orange jumpsuit spitting on that lady. Thinking about the scene where the guy sneaks into the room in The Sixth Sense. I mean, the blood-curdling moments in The Happening, which you should listen to. It's one of my favorite MFF episodes. Mm-hmm. Just watching that and the way he handles, Split and just those characters. Now, the only caveat is he can't have more than a $10 million budget. Mm-hmm. M. Night. So I'm gonna do M. Night or S. Craig. Karen Kusama could make a good one too. That'd be interesting.
That actually. Mark, I wish that I thought of her.
Yeah, I was like, we picked a bunch of dudes.
To be fair, for our default thinking, it's historically.
The horror genre has been not rife.
I mean, if you look in the last 10 years, the Zoska sisters have come into play. Karen Kusama's come into play. There's more, and I forgive me for not thinking of them right now, but there's more, but. Directing in general is historically male dominated. We can't get around it, and so that's what we thought of. But now that
not to get rid of, I think our picks are good though. I think our picks are pretty good though. The moment you said
Karen Kusama though, I'm like, holy shit! I wish I thought of her. I would have immediately booted Ari Aster for her when I gave you my 4.
Well, do you want to do M. Night or Karen?
That's a good call, actually. When I think of what you know what? Okay, I still want to stick with M. Night because I'm more interested in that flavor, even though I don't necessarily think it would make a better movie. That's the thing. I think that Karen's going to give me a more cheeky, stylish Freddy movie, And while that would probably still, because I love Jennifer's Body, and that's what Jennifer's Body is, but I want to see Freddy go a different, intense or atmospheric way, and not just cheeky and stylish done better. So I'm gonna stick with M. Night, even though he might shit the bed with it.
Yeah, it could go. But you know what though? When he misses big, and so even his biggest failures, I find very interesting.
Well, I like his failures. I do generally like his failures
because the original, Airbender and Another Earth, those are not M. Night movies. But Lady in the Water, Village, Happening, he swings originally.
Well, and I actually really like The Village, even though a lot of people hate it.
No, but you know what I mean.
Love The Happening, even though a lot of people hate it. We love them.
Oh yeah, we had a great talk about that. And it doesn't matter who you are. When if he misses, he misses big. But when he connects, he connects. And so I want to see an S. Craig because I want to. I
think I'd favor that over an M. Night. I think I would.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that intensity. And he does atmosphere very well, too. It's a very different flavor of dread, though. Mm-hmm. But still, I'd like to see that Freddy movie. I feel like there is not an intense Freddy movie. And I feel like he could bring us an emotionally and dreadfully and atmospherically intense, like, you are nerve-wracked by scenes.
Yeah. Has Craig Zoller's Nightmare on Elm Street. Oof. I think Logan Marshall Green could be really good.
You know who I almost said, by the way? I almost said David Gordon Green, thinking of the intensity in the recent. How it wasn't quite Rob Zombie, but it tried to marry, even though I didn't like how it worked out. Like the ingredients, how it tried to marry Rob Zombie and John Carpenter's Mike Myers kind of.
What about a Takashi Miike?
The thing is, I think that when you do that one, though, it might not even be recognizable to franchise fans, despite the name Freddy Kreuger. But I'd love to see that movie anyway. I'm just going to prioritize that one.
Now, imagine a Park Chan-wook Freddy in the vein of like a Thirst that's just puts you through the ringer.
Gore Verbinski.
Oh, yeah. Imagine the look on that.
The Ring and A Cure for Wellness. You know, that's another. Oh, dear.
Yeah, we keep coming up with new ones. I'm still very happy with mine, though. I think S. Craig could do it.
I know. I think that's a very satisfying. I think that's a safe pick for at least something that will be popular after its video release. I don't know if it'll be popular in theaters, but I think that it will have lasting power. Whereas Gore Verbinski could be hit or miss, like the Lone Ranger kind of thing. I think that Zoller's and M. Night, that's another strong hit or misser. I think Zoller, even though his track record isn't as long, I think it's safer.
Do you think Logan Marshall Green? So he was in The Invitation, he was in Upgrade, Devil,
Prometheus.
I think he could be a good Freddy Kreuger.
It's an interesting choice. He's got very kind eyes.
They'd be more wounded, not outright evil.
Okay. Oh, that's an interesting sell, Mark.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Right. It's less about revenge and more about impulse and need. Something needs to be righted.
Like, I love an Upgrade when he's murdering people and just freaking out about it. I just think he's just wounded, he's angry, and he's just brutal and mean. And then he has an S. Craig Zoller-esque murder scene. Well, that was I got goosebumps now. Thanks a lot, Nathan. I appreciate it, Nathan. Thanks a lot, man. But yeah, so John, I mean, we've covered a lot about this movie. Any final things you want to talk about from this film? Like, how would you rank these three that we've talked about, 3, 4, and 5? Would you put them in that order?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Which one would you watch first?
Well, I like doing things in order. Honestly, I'd probably do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if I wasn't going to do the whole franchise, it would probably be 3, 4, 5.
Got it.
Or just one.
Someone just looks at you and goes, John, 3, 4, 5.
Let's do it.
Which one? No, pick one. Yeah.
For me, it's 3. I think 3 is the best of the most dimensions.
Character-wise, for sure. Yeah.
I still think 3 for characters, but the characters are very likable in 4. It's